The black woman is God.
I raise my flag for my sister, sister. 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 I raise my flag.
Peace and power, family, and this is the Real Sisters Code. I'm your hostess, HAT-SHEP-SUT, and I just want to kind of give an introduction on what our next show will be. Our next show is going to actually be part 2 of What is a Woman? We want to pick up with that because we want to really dive into the way that we represent ourselves today and how we used to represent ourselves, not even going back 20, 50 years. So I want to show a few different clips on today's modern Black woman and also on how we used to be and how far we have fallen off of our throne. How quickly we have let outside influences take away the very essence of who we are and how we represent ourselves to our community and to the rest of the world. We were at one point the epitome of grace, the epitome of gentleness, of stature, of just compassion, of empathy, of nurturing. And today we're quite the opposite. Most of our attributes are extremely masculine, detrimental to our community, the opposite of what a woman should be, how a woman should conduct ourselves, how we represent ourselves to the globe, to everyone. And, to see this fall is, it's very easily to see if we watch, who we are today as opposed to who we used to be. So unfortunately, without further ado, let's cut to these clips so you can get an insight of, what we will be talking about for our next show. I want to start off with some of today's idols, unfortunately, and what our young people, what our young women are basically trying to attain to be. What our young women are emulating, what our young women are displaying to the world without any consequence, without any self-recognition, and without any type of thought towards our representation and our image to others and even to ourselves. So let's start off.
Dude, bro, that's not good, bro. Damn, dude. Bro. You all right, dude? Bro, that's not good, bro. Damn, dude. Bro. You all right, dude?
Now that right there, I'm sure everybody knows who that is. That's Krishan Rock. And her and Blueface are I don't even know. He's really not even a rapper. He can't even rap. I don't even want to give him the title of such. These are people who are sent by the establishment to further divide our community and cause confusion. So this is a woman, a Black woman, supposedly, who has and exhibits no self-control whatsoever. None. And we'll see this within the next clip. No self-control, no type of diplomacy, no type of care towards herself, nor her man. So let's go on to the next one. No type of humility at all no type of shame whatsoever. And all of these things, every single one of these next videos, we should just like really shake our head and just in sadness, because this is where we're at today. In all these videos, we should just really reflect on where we are as a people and how we even allowed this to be displayed. I mean, who does this? How is this okay? What type of woman would even allow this to be video, like to be video?
Hard questions that nobody never asks, and this is how I'm answering them straight up. If you don't want to be with me,
she said her asking some hard ass questions.
I still. Why not?
Hey, come on. Hey, bro.
I'm gonna step out and let y'all do the interview.
All right.
Bro, take her outside.
There ain't nobody trying to grab you. Woman ever like people trying to just be respectful,
like
you know?
A child.
She off that Hennessy, man.
Take her outside. Nothing to talk about.
They asking hard questions that nobody never asks, and this is how I'm answering.
Oh, it gets worse. She's not the only representation. It's pretty much every single representation of Black women. Ratchetness, childishness, immaturity, no self-control, no type of humility, no type of any type of grace, no type of any remorse for the way that they are acting and how they're representing us on television for the whole world to see.
Like a person couldn't rap. You're not.
This is City Girls or whatever.
Now.
Another group.
I said some shit too. Some of the stuff wasn't trolling. It was my opinion, but it was some of the stuff I was just really just like being funny. Like I said some shit about some people, and they really wrote me, and they were like, "But then why you say that about me?" I just be like, "I don't know." I was just bored. Like it was just funny at the time. Me and my friends, it was a group of us. I'm just the famous one out of the people that got caught. So I feel like it was based, like some of the stuff was basically like if I'm watching awards, like you're saying, if I'm watching awards and I'll be like, such and such missed a step, like that hoe lame as fuck for that. Then 2 tweets.
Not for nothing. Like I'm not talking about anybody's list, but like the representation of like looking like Ronald McDonald, like this is not where it's at. This is not becoming of a beautiful Black female. I mean, who told her this is how she's supposed to look? Who told her this is how you're supposed to represent yourself?
Later, you're gonna be like, I love this song by such and such. Yeah. Because I feel like it wasn't as like how they do it now for a reaction, because blogs wasn't posting us back in the
Talking
day,
about
right?
nothing, by the way.
So now they are
nothing
posting
that matters
so
at all.
Doing it for
was actually
so
going
that
on in the
is
world.
trolling, because you know you don't even mean that shit. You're just trying to be top comment. Yeah. You're just trying to get a clap back. You're trying to get a reaction so you can show your friends. So I think that's the difference between
breasts out on television
my Twitter era and their Twitter era. Like they really doing it for reaction. I literally was just doing it just to fucking do it. I just personally feel like us being from Miami, we like real misunderstood, like the way we talk. Like our slang is so different. So when we say stuff, we just like totally just misunderstood. And I just feel like that's kind of what made us stand out as city girls. We was just always different, and we always never gave a fuck about nothing. No, like I was girl.
Be careful of those who say, I feel like. They're far from thinkers. That means they go only off of emotion over logic, when it should be logic over emotion. So now they're trying to give excuses because of how they act. They're trying to give, I'm from Florida, so this is why I'm ratchet. This is why I curse all the time. This is why I don't know how to conduct myself. This is why I don't have any self-control.
I said some shit, and I go through my Snapchat. A lot of stuff ain't even on the internet. I be going back to my Snapchat when I want to laugh. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was so fucking ugly just in the camera, just didn't care. Like, I was just in the camera, just having a ball, saying what I want to say, talking about people saying, nigga, you can't come to my house unless you paying my rent. And that's like me not even famous.
So she just said how she looked at herself and she saw she was ugly, but doesn't care. So these are the people we follow. These are the ones who you let your daughters and your sons watch on television. These people, and you don't monitor it at all. She just said she doesn't care. She just goes on and she does whatever. She just reacts off of her feelings. Whatever she feels that day, she could feel bad about it after watching it. But so what? Why should she have to care? Because she's not representing her community. She's not representing Black women. She's representing herself. And it's a poor display of representing yourself to even begin with. Let's continue.
I ain't even trying to go viral. That's really me popping my shit. So yeah, you're right.
I know that's just Miami people. That's all we do. All we do is talk shit, rank and play.
Yeah.
Just like
we could fry it.
When our old tweet got brought up, and it was like the Haitian shit. And I used to always, it was like Haitian play a day against gangs.
Yeah, we do that in Miami. Like I feel like they don't understand. Like Miami Twitter is a different culture. Like Miami is a very diverse city. So we got different like Haitians, Jamaicans, Cubans, and the Haitians is real big in Miami. They took over. So they took over. So they used to always come on there and get on there and be like, y'all Yanks broke as fuck. And we would be like, y'all, like
this ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, no other state. This just some
Miami shit. It ain't that we hate. Like, I love all culture.
No, it's not Miami. It's ignorance. Okay? So now once again, it's funny to divide ourselves. It's funny to tease other Black people. It's funny to put down other Black people. It's funny to just not even think about what you're saying and make an excuse because it's where you're from. And that's the reason why you must act completely ignorant. This is not becoming of any type of female. This is not femininity. This is not the definition of what a woman is. Far from it.
It's like, but it's just us like ranking each other, just going back and forth, playing the whole time. These people got
everything is a joke. Everything is for play. Nothing is serious with this generation today. Nothing is serious about our representation today. It's a big joke. This is a even bigger joke right here.
Drink nut, right? Yeah, everything. Okay, drink nut sound. Drink nut sound. He's just so corny to me. Oh my god, boy, I'm scared. It's some weird shit. But okay, some people we just got done eating right. Don't worry about it. No, you too far in now. Yeah. Alright, so some people we got done eating, then we have six right after. And some food, I'm gonna still eat it. So if you just know, like none of my food, I'm eating.
So this is what's funny today. This is what you should be talking about. I mean, how disgusting and low can you actually be? It's like every time I think we've hit rock bottom, I see something else that shows us that no, we're not quite there yet. It can get worse. I meant this display now. Angela Yee, these people they're in their 40s. I remember watching them when I coming up. Are you kidding me? You are in your 40s. And this is how you act. This is how you teach somebody who's 20 something years old how to be, how to act, how to you endorse this. This is funny. It's funny games. All for money, all to keep profiting. These are the sellouts in our community that look like us. These are the people who are bringing our image down every single day, constantly. They are paid to do this. They laugh at it. This is demonic nature. And like the demon seems to be in a lot of people who they show on television, who a lot of our young women idolize. And because we are never speaking against it, because we are never showing any other way to be, this is what's considered the norm today. I'm going to show you what the norm used to be like, and it wasn't that long ago. So when people like, that was a long time ago, no, it was not. Don't let people spread and tell that lie. They want to erase our image. They want to erase where we were on our throne. And our people are helping them do it. Let's go to the next one.
Like this
She's a whole man.
I be like
this is funny. This is what she wanted to display to young girls. It's enough of this. You get my point in what I'm saying and why we have to actually discuss what is a woman. It seemed like a simple question. It seemed like something that, why would you have something like that simple, that easy be the topic of the show? Because obviously we've completely erased the definition and the attributes of what women should be. And this is why it has to be discussed in detail. Because if what I just showed is what women are, we're not going to be here in the next 100 or so years. No way. No way. Not with these type of demons running around, and not with our children following this. So let's go to some snippets now of who we should be emulating ourselves after, who we should be idolizing, who we should be trying to work hard to be like. Some of our great women in the past who show nothing but humility, who show nothing but grace, who show nothing but humbleness. I want to start off with our great sister, Mrs. Betty Shabazz. And this was actually not too far after Malcolm died, and they're interviewing her.
She somehow gathered up the strength to do this interview, which we share with you now.
What was his attitude toward his family?
Well, contrary to popular belief, his attitude towards his family was a very warm one. And although my husband traveled a lot, we had a very close relationship in the sense that whenever he would go away, I could always expect a letter, not every day, every other day. And I could always expect a phone call. And now I think the great emptiness is not so much that he's away right now, but that he's away and I'll never get another letter from him, or I won't hear from him again. And when my children began to, after he's gone for a period of time, they began to ask me different things about him. They draw pictures and write little notes for him, and they're piling up. I guess when they really start asking about him, I don't really know exactly how to explain to him that he'll never return. I think there's a great emptiness.
In the course of his lifetime and his career, did he ever discuss with you the aims of this new organization he founded last year, the Organization for Afro-American Unity?
Well, yes, in particular, one of the aims was internationalizing the problem of the Afro-American in this country. He felt that as long as in a few states we were begging for cups of coffee or things of this sort, that we would not receive rights all over. Just as the white man is able to go all over the face of the earth and receive the same dignity and respect in one country as he does in the other. The Afro-American or the African, wherever he goes, receive indignation and disrespect. And he felt by internationalizing the problem, by helping the Africans, and in turn the Africans helping us to get our rights, that a black man, an Afro-American or an African, could go all over the face of the earth and receive the same dignity, the same respect as any white man. And I think that this was one of the aims, was a very good aim.
Now I want to stop right there. This is exactly what I was talking about as far as our image. You know, today we're so short-sighted on, how we affect each other and how we affect each other and the image that we portray, how it then affects other Black people around the whole entire globe. Because no other race sees us as different. No one's sitting around, nobody white is sitting around, or Arab, or Indian, or Asian sitting around like, wait, okay, they're African Americans, they're Nigerians, they're Ghanaians, they're Jamaicans, they're Dominicans, they're from Venezuela. Nobody is sitting around doing that. We are all seen as one. Think about the last time you said, oh, wait, the French are different from the English, are different from the Italians, are different from the Irish, are different from the Scottish, are different from the Germans. No, you see them all as one collective. And that's exactly how we're seen. So they will look at your worst, at our worst, and say, that's who they all are. And if that's the constant image that we're portraying, we get respect nowhere, not at home, and not across the globe, not at any other country, because they're going to see us for what is the representation. We don't go against it. We don't boycott these shows. We don't boycott the music. We don't say we don't want it. And this is what is bringing us down. And then we keep copying it, replicating it, wanting to be it even more. And this is what the great Miss Betty Shabazz was saying. This is what Malcolm was trying to end. So it does matter how you display yourself. It does matter if you're going outside looking like a clown, if you're going outside looking like, you know, disheveled. People are watching that. They have been watching our every move ever since we've been teaching them outside the damn caves. All they do is watch us. All they do is watch us so they could steal and take from us and then act like we never did it. And we keep allowing this from century to century to century, from decade to decade, to keep just recycling. And we're so great. We just come up with new stuff. We're coming up with new stuff. We're coming up with new stuff. We're coming to a roadblock right now. Because one thing we always had was community, was the recognition of us as a whole. And we don't have that anymore. We've just completely adopted the European way of living, and that is individualism. You only care for yourself. Miss Betty Shabazz, did you hear one selfish speech in all that she said? She couldn't even, she's not even thinking about that. All she's concerned about still, even with her husband being murdered, are her children and the community. No one is that selfless today. Let's move on to the next powerful sister right here. We're going to watch Miss Shahrazad Ali on how feminism has destroyed the U.S. Black family.
Black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the Black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our Black family structure. Now, of course, there are many Black people who consider those fighting words because as Black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book is not an attack on Black women. I have never said that all Black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done or that we do daily that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that being my own person and I'm independent would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man.
So as you hear from, the great Miss Shahrazad Ali, this was in the 90s. We're in 2023 today, and it's finally come to full fruition. 70%, if not more, of our households are single parent households. We sold our community out for money, for fake position, for fake degrees. Happy to be over the Black man, happy to not have any order whatsoever anymore, which will, in the end up completely killing and demolishing our community. These are all the topics we're going to be speaking about in depth. I just want to give you a breakdown and just want to show you how far we've come, how far we have, matter of fact, how far we have fallen from who we used to be. And this was not that long ago. Now I want to just, speak on, look, I want to show some, some of our stars in the 90s and early 2000s, and how the woman was represented and how we represent ourselves to the rest of the world in our community.
We were going to talk a little bit about your...
This is Aaliyah.
Beginning of your career, which was really an early beginning. You were 4, you would begin to
soft, beautiful, gentle, kind.
So now that you are...
Do you see any type of hardness within her?
How do you look at it?
How do I look at it?
All that career that began when you...
I mean, it's amazing to me when I think back and think about everything that I've done and how I started at such a young age. And but I feel very blessed. I learned a lot. I've been doing this for 7 years now, so I totally feel like a veteran, even though I'm still very young. So it's really amazing, and I feel very I'm happy. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. This is what I dreamed about doing when I was a little girl, and I'm doing it. So very happy.
What were your dreams as a little girl?
To be an entertainer. I wanted to sing. I wanted to act. I wanted to dance. From the moment I stepped foot on stage, at 6 years old in the play Annie, I was like, "This is what I want to do. I have to do this. I'm happy doing this." So I'm living it, and I'm very, very happy about it.
Did you have some at that time? Did you have some models, some people
looked up to?
Wanted to be?
Yeah, I totally looked up to Sade. I thought she was absolutely amazing as far as music was concerned. Loved her style, her grace. She was just everything to me as far as music artist was concerned. And I looked up to Barbara Streisand because she did it all. She was an amazing vocalist as well as an actress. And she realized her dream. She directed, she produced, she did it all and was successful at it. So I totally looked up to her as well.
Do you remember the first time, your first memory about singing?
It would have to be the play. I was in first grade and I remember auditioning for it. I don't remember the song that I sang. But just that whole experience of being in the chorus, being an orphan, rehearsals, the whole nine, that's as far back as I can go. And I just remember how much fun I had and how it was just pure bliss. Every day after school going to rehearse for it and then being on the stage and the makeup and it's the whole nine. It was great.
When you were a child, what was the musical, vibe in the house? You remember the sounds you were?
I like the artists that my parents listened to. They listened to a lot of Stevie Wonder. They listened to Marvin Gaye, a lot of Johnny Mathis. My mother loved Johnny Mathis and Luther Vandross. I remember I used to go into the den and put on his albums and put on the headphones so I wouldn't disturb everyone else in the house and sing along with Luther. I knew all of his songs and all of his albums. So those are the people that I liked because of them. My mother sings as well. So we would sing together and sing those songs. And I remember singing Chances Are with her. That's a Johnny Mathis tune. And so those are the people that influenced me.
Okay, so Aaliyah was younger than Glorilla and the rest of the other females I showed in the beginning of this introduction. I don't even think words need to be spoken as to the tremendous difference in our representation. And these were celebrities. This is not talking about, we're not getting into Black power, but in a sense, it really is, because they were conscious on how they appeared and how they spoke and how they represented themselves for the sake of us. So me looking up to Aaliyah when I was a little girl, and was this 2001, I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to be her. I mean, look how beautiful she is. Look how graceful she is. Look at how feminine she is. Her beauty just shines. Just like how with Betty Shabazz, just like how with Shahrazad Ali. These are people who, I felt in my heart, who I knew I wanted to emulate, and who one day I hope to become like. So this is the type of representation we should have. And like I said, we're going to dive more into this, but I just want to show you who we used to be today is not correct. This is not how we should look. This is not how we should be presenting ourselves. This is not today is nothing close to what a woman used to be, who we used to be. Let's go on to the next clip. This is the gracious Miss Coretta Scott King speaking about Martin Luther King, her husband. Now, that's another thing, how they revered their husband, how they took in every single part of the movement that their husband displayed, and they made sure that they were the best representation. They were the best type of regalness for the world to see. We don't care about that anymore. We don't care about how low we can actually be and go. And these were both women. These women were spoken to after their husband had just passed away. There is no excuse today. There is no, it's because of where I'm from. Are you kidding? Do you know where these women were from? Do you know where we originally came from? So the hardship, that's not even an excuse. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. There's no excuse to sit around and act like some of these women are so masculine. It's so unappealing. It's a turnoff. And it's a degradation to our community and what we represent as Black women.
Dream. But he was no dreamer. He moved and he did. He preached nonviolence, but he lived day by day with the real courage that violent men really do not have. That day in Washington, D.C., I believe he expressed not only for the Black people of America, but for all free men, the true American dream.
Today, my friend, let freedom ring.
Absolutely elegant.
The last night my husband spoke in Memphis, Tennessee, even in his last public words, weary and troubled as he was, the dream, the confidence, the hope for America was still alive.
Some began to talk about the threats that were out.
regal and gracious, just like a goddess should be. This is the epitome of a real woman. All the last women I just showed were the epitome of real Black women. The other ones in the beginning, I don't know what type of man-made demon they are, but that's what it is. It's a free creation of a concoction of what the establishment wants to promote us to be. This is who we are. We're Coretta Scott King. We're Shahrazad Ali. We're Aaliyah. We're Janet Jackson. We're the gracious Coretta Scott King. This is who we are. We're the regal Betty Shabazz. And we must never forget that. We have to go back in time. We have to go and relearn and retrain and reteach ourselves back into the way, into the throne that we were once in. It is not okay to act the way that we act today. I have about a few more clips, and then we'll continue with our discussion this week. This clip was Janet Jackson when she released her new album, Control. And one thing that you can, definitely see across the board is absolute selflessness. Every single thing that comes out of these women's mouth is to help other young Black women or other Black women in general. Help our community. They were never, not once in any public eye, and I don't even think behind closed doors, selfish. And that's why we're even in the positions we are today, because of these women. But we don't even praise, we throw no attribute, we have no type of recognition of who we used to be. And the Real Sisters Code is going to bring that back.
To do an album like Control, where you're talking about yourself or singing about yourself, is a pretty bold move in anyone's category, especially for someone that's so young.
Yeah, it was bold, and a lot of people, they were unsure about it, but it was something I felt that I needed to do. The things that I had experienced, I felt like I was alone at that time, even though I know that I wasn't alone, and I felt the need to get this album out so that other girls could hear it, other people, and because I know they experienced a lot of the same things, if not the same things that I had, and just to let them know you're not alone, you're not the only one who has gone through this. And I felt it was really important to do that, and that's why I really felt the need to do this, something I felt deeply in my heart.
Even with those experiences of your own experiences,
now that's a display of what a goddess is. I remember my first album I ever got was Control by Janet Jackson. Now I didn't get it in '86 because I was like a baby, but I'm just saying. But I got it a few years later, and from that point on, I was a Janet Jackson fan. That album just spoke to me. Even as a little girl, I was like, I think 4 when I got the album. I just remember looking at it like, wow, I have my first album. I'm so happy. And I listened to the whole thing. I know the album inside and out. And it's just it's absolutely feminine. It talks about everything that a young woman is thinking and how should she react, and everything in between. It was not raunchy. It wasn't ratchet. It wasn't man-hating. It was all about love. It was all about learning, and it was all about growth. Something that children could listen to. You can't let any 4-year-old or 5-year-old today listen to a Glorilla or a City Girls album. If you do, you're an idiot. I'm just saying it right. You're an idiot. And you're poisoning your children. So it's like we have to go back to that. And it's not old. It's not considered old to go back and listen to the era and the time before you. Like you heard Aaliyah, she's sitting there listening to Luther Vandross, Aretha Franklin, all these Sade, everybody who was before her time. That was a normal thing. Kids didn't rule back then. We were under our parents. I know 70s songs, 80s songs, 60s. I could even go further back, 50s and 30s, because I was listening to music from my grandparents were playing. They weren't sitting around listening to my music. I was listening to their music. And that's what shaped me as a young female. I don't just have one sector of thought in my mind, because we used to talk about every and anything. Today, you let your children isolate themselves, go off to a corner, put in the earplugs, go sit in a room. Nobody comes to dinner table anymore. Nobody talks about their day. The family's divided. If there's even a dad in the home, because 70% of our homes are fatherless, there is no communion. There is no community. There's no community even within the home. It's division. You have no idea what your children are listening to, nor do you care. Or you're listening to the same thing that they're listening to, and no wonder why we are so off as a society. You're a parent. You're supposed to be the adult. And you let your child listen to poison and demonic people. This is crazy. We need to go back. We need to go back in history. We need to go back in time to find who we are. This is the only way. We can't live off of what we see today, because we would surely be an eradicated race. And that's what they want. And this is what the plan is. And we're falling right into the plan. Okay, I want to end this off with Kathleen Cleaver, okay, one of the members of the Black Panther Party. And she's just going to talk about the self-image. Now, like, everything doesn't have to come as gentle and as quiet and as sweet as a Janet Jackson or a Aaliyah. You can be a Shahrazad Ali. You can be a Kathleen Cleaver. You can be an Assata Shakur. But they still did not lose any of the qualities of what it meant to be a true feminine woman, and one who cares for her community and family and herself.
This brother here, myself, all of us were born with our hair like this, and we just wear it like this because it's natural. Because the reason for it, you might say, is like a new awareness among Black people that their own natural appearance, physical appearance, is beautiful and it's pleasing to them. For so many years, we were told that only white people were beautiful. Only straight hair, light eyes, light skin was beautiful. And so Black women would try everything they could, straighten their hair, lighten their skin, to look as much like white women. This has changed because Black people are aware. And white people are aware of it too, because white people now want natural wigs. They want wigs like this. Dig it? Isn't it beautiful? All right. It's beautiful. Bring it.
Okay, family. So, we just, went through a few video clips of, what is going to start our discussion this week on what is a woman. I hope that you were able to really sit back and analyze, how far we have fallen as a community and where we need to get back to. I want you to stay tuned this week to part 2 of What is a Woman on the Real Sistas Code, where we will, like I said, we're going to dive right in to the distinctions on what a woman is, a female, today's modern woman, and just where we need to go as a people and as a community. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you back this week with part 2. Peace and Black Power, family.
The black woman
I raise
is
my
God.
flag for my sister, sister. I raise my 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 flag.